welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my kitchen again. This week when I was thinking about what I wanted to film, I just kind of thought I haven't baked kind of on camera as much as I'd like to this year. I really enjoy baking. I know it's not been too long since I did a video in the kitchen, but I just thought I'd do another one because I'm doing it a lot more at the minute and I just thought it'd be fun to have it on camera. So for anyone who is in the UK, or for anyone who follows people who are in the UK, you will know that Great British Bake Off is back on our televisions. I love it, I'm absolutely obsessed, and I've been trying to bake something with them like every week. It's just kind of little things. I'm not following the recipes, I'm just kind of doing my own. If you've been following me on Twitter, you will have seen that every week I have been putting pictures up. I am going to do blog posts about it and things, but I just thought that this week I would film what I'm making. So as always, I'm using my favourite cookbook, which is Tanya Bakes. I've raved about this book so much. I'm not going to kind of go into it loads, but I love this for baking. I've never made anything bad from it, and I do genuinely think all the recipes in it are like really good. So this week on Great British Bake Off, it is caramel week. So I have decided to make the salted caramel brownies. Now I've made these several times before. I love them, my family love them, you know, they're a really great hit. Whenever people come round, they always ask me to make these. So I thought that with it being caramel week, it's a good reason to kind of get them baking again. So there is a couple of little tweaks that I'm making to this recipe, just because I did only decide last night that I was going to be making these, so I don't have absolutely everything in. So basically the only kind of change that I'm making really is that you're supposed to melt some dark chocolate to mix in with the mixture. So like I've got some melted butter here and it is supposed to have some melted dark chocolate in with it as well, but I don't have any in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip that bit out. It's still got cocoa powder and everything in, and I'm actually going to put some white chocolate chips in with it. I know that it's going to change the brownie slightly, but hopefully it should still all turn out okay. So as you can probably hear, I do have my oven preheating. It's on at 180 degrees, it's just getting warmed up to temperature, and I'm going to start making my mixture. So here I have some melted butter. This is 200 grams of unsalted butter. I use the Stork like baking spread. So this is what's in here. It's all melted down. If you are following the recipe as well, you are supposed to have 300 grams of dark chocolate in there as well that's also been melted. In terms of my other ingredients, which are in this corner here, I also have 160 grams of plain flour, 60 grams of cocoa powder, 300 grams of golden caster sugar, and also 4 eggs. I've also got some vanilla extract, which I'll get out when I need it. It's in my cupboard, and also a tin of the carnation caramel. I would make my own, but I've tried to make caramel before and it turned into toffee instantly. It didn't even like get to the caramel stage. It just went from whatever you start off with, sugar and water, is it? I don't know. Started off with that and it basically went straight to toffee, and I've got no one in the house with me to kind of tell me when to stop it or anything, so I'm just going with the simple tin stuff. Gotta tell you, I'm wearing really dark lipstick today, and I put a liquid lipstick on and then I put like a gloss over the top, and it's so sticky. This is why I don't normally wear gloss. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to whisk my sugar into my butter. So obviously I've got everything already weighed out, so I'm just going to grab this bowl here, pour everything in, and then I've got my little whisk. I'm not going to do it with the handheld because you don't have to like cream anything, which is normally what I use the handheld for. So I'm just going to put this in and use my whisk. Now obviously the butter is completely melted, so this should, in theory, be a little bit easier. Right, so that's all incorporated now. It looks a little, I can't tip it because it's really wet, but it looks a little bit like custard, I guess. So I'm going to keep mixing this, and then once that's all kind of incorporated really nicely, I'm going to add in my eggs. Now, so there's 4 eggs, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 at a time. So put 2 in, whisk it, and then put the other 2 in. I've still got them in the box because I know that knowing my luck, they'll slide all over the place. And then also within this mixture, I'm going to add my vanilla extract. So with the vanilla extract, you just need 1 teaspoon. As I said before, I don't really kind of get a teaspoon out for this, I just eye it. So I'm just going to pop a little bit in. And then now that's all in there, I want to whisk it until it's all light and bubbly. I'm not going to lie, I'm normally really rubbish at this bit, and I tend to kind of just leave it, but I'll give it a good go. Right, so I've done it until it's all combined. It's a little bit bubbly, but it's not too light, and again, it's still really runny, so I can't particularly show you very well. So that's all kind of together now. I could keep going until it is light and bubbly, but I've never done it before, if I'm honest, and they've never gone wrong, so fingers crossed. So now I want to fold in my last kind of 2 ingredients, which are the flour and cocoa powder. So I'm going to pop those in, and then you want to fold it in. So any air that you have got in there, like from the eggs and things, isn't going to be knocked out. As I said, mine's not super fluffy, but there is bubbles in there, so I am still going to fold it. So I've got mine in 2 separate bowls, so I'm going to add my cocoa powder first, and then my plain flour. And then I'm going to grab a spoon, and I'm just going to fold all this in together. So now that it's all combined, there's still some bubbles in there, there's still some air, but everything's mixed together. This is where you would now pop it into the brownie tin. Now, obviously I didn't add the chocolate to begin with, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in a few chocolate chips. So I've got some white chocolate chips that we just got from like a little local shop. So I'm going to pour some of these in. I haven't weighed it out, and I'm just going to, I don't know, just pour some in until I think that there's like an even amount in, so that every brownie is going to have a decent amount. Okay, perfect. So that's all now combined. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a little bit of shuffling around, and I'm going to put my brownie tin in front of me so I can get everything kind of ready for that. Okay, so what I've got now is I've got my brownie tin here. I've lined it with some grease-proof paper because I found that with brownies, this is just the easiest way for me to get them out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour half of this mixture in, because obviously I'm making salted caramel brownies and there is no caramel in this yet. So what I do is I pour half of this into this tray. I've then got my tin of carnation caramel, which I pour on top, and then I pour the rest of this on. So there's like a layer of caramel in the middle. So I'm going to pour half of this in now. Okay, so I've now got a, I'm going to tip this up and it's all going to like go funny, but I've got a lining of brownie in my tin. So what I'm going to do is I've now got my tin of carnation caramel here. It doesn't look appetising, but if you're from England and you've had this before, you know that this is like amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this on the top. It is a little bit clumpy, it's not very runny, so I'm going to pour this, well, I'm going to dot it, and then I'm going to like sweep it through so that it creates like an even layer, hopefully. And you just want to use like this entire tin basically. Okay, so now I've put the caramel in, which you can see is not the easiest thing in the world to do. What I'm going to do is I've got a little pot here of some sea salt flakes, and I'm just going to flake these over the top so that you get that salted caramel effect basically. Perfect, so now that is all done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the remainder of the mixture that I've got and put it all over the top. And I have also left some of the caramel, so I am going to kind of blob or drizzle, depending how it wants to work for me, some of that over the top as well, just so there's a little bit of kind of decoration on the top. But yeah, first thing is to put this over. Okay, so now I'm going to add some more of this caramel. You are supposed to put all of this in the middle layer, but I like adding a little bit to the top for like a bit of a decoration. So I'm just going to take it and I'm going to try and like swizzle it, but it never works. It's just too temperamental, this caramel. Perfect, so now this is all done, I'm going to pop it in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes and then they're all ready. Oh, it smells so good. So as you can see, some time has now passed and I've got my finished brownies out on the side. It's been a couple of hours since I last filmed something, obviously with them cooking, and then I wanted them out to cool. In total, my brownies cooked for about half an hour, but that's because we've got quite an old oven, so it can be a little bit temperamental. So yeah, I left them in for around half an hour. They've then been out on the side cooling, around half an hour in the tin, and then half an hour to an hour, I'd say, kind of out like this. So it's still obviously with the greaseproof paper, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop it now whilst it's still in the greaseproof, and then I'm going to pile them all up so you guys can see them, and then I've got my tin here ready for them to go in. There's going to be 5 of us here this evening. I think I'm going to cut this into 6, and then there's just going to be 1 spare for whoever is lucky enough to get it. But yeah, it looks really good. I do have to say that because I didn't put the chocolate in to begin with, because I didn't have any, it does look a little bit more cake-like, but it still smells like a brownie, and I think it's still going to taste like a brownie. So I am really looking forward to seeing what these kind of taste like later on this evening. So I'm going to get my knife and I'm going to start chopping these. Oh my gosh, so these look so good. They just look really gooey and like super nice. They're going to be such a nice treat this evening, and I hope that everybody else likes them too. They are quite big, so I think I might cut them in half again, but I don't think it's like a necessity. And I do really like that you can actually see the caramel in them this time. They're normally a little bit undercooked when I make them, so it's nice to kind of be able to see that. So before I pop these all in this tin here so that they're all kind of away and ready for us this evening, I did want to do like a little bit of a taste test. There was a tiny little bit still stuck, well I say a tiny bit, like a spoonful-ish stuck on the greaseproof paper. So I just kind of scooped it up on a little spoon, so it's just on a teaspoon, and I'm going to try it and see what they taste like. Oh, they're really good. They're really like gooey, but not like undercooked gooey. And you get like the caramel and the salt. They're really good. Really yummy. As always, when I'm doing videos like this, I will leave the link down below to Tanya's book, so that if you do want to make these and try them yourself, you know, you can get the book and try. I absolutely love these brownies. As I say, I've made these so many like different times. These ones are obviously a little bit different, but they've still turned out really well, and I'm, you know, really happy with it. So yeah, if you do want to make these, I will leave the link to Tanya's book down below. It is always my go-to when I'm baking. I absolutely love that book. And yeah, that's everything for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments what other videos you'd like to see. I am starting to plan my autumn and winter videos, so like for Christmas and things, so please do let me know, and let me know if you'd like to see more baking videos, because as I always say, I do really enjoy doing them. So if you do want to see more, please do let me know. And that's everything for this week. I'll see you next week with another video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye!